Oh. 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 Just to recollect what was being discussed last week, Swami is talking about the 20 qualities, or he has started talking about the 20 qualities, sugunas, as Swami called them, which the jnani has to have in full for him to be able to attain the Lord. I think so. I think the first one was discussed, which was amanitvam. I think there was a lot of discussion. I could not take part in it. Just to put, I think there were many questions asked. How can we cultivate it or something like that? I think one thing which we have to understand is that these are qualities which a jnani has to cultivate. Swami, in the earlier passages, Swami has already spoken about if you are a beginner, sadhaka who is a beginner, has to understand what is jnana, what is the jnaya, and so on. So that is, sadhaka has to work on cultivating knowledge. Whereas jnani has already cultivated the knowledge that he is not the body, he is not the mind, he is the Atman. And in that context only, we have to discuss these qualities. So the amanitvam, I think, variety of discussions were given, but I think the Swami says absence of abhimana that's what Swami says. Abhimana is also equivalent to ego, knowing that I am this body, I am this mind, and I am this limited self. Jnani has to at no point have that feeling of abhimana. I think one of the translation says it's humility. I think I would say it's absence of ego would be a better translation. Because abhimana mamakara, abhimana is almost equivalent to ahankara. So that's, I also thought it may be an English word which can be very nicely describing is self-effacing. Someone who is so self-effacing, his self does not stand out. Even if they do something, they will not, no one will know that the person has done. It should be so unobserved. It's so that sense I got. So I will stop here. If there's any other points anyone wants to share and discuss, we will discuss. Otherwise, we can move on. Saira.
Sorry, Mangal, also from the last week, Swami's referring to these gunas as jnana guna.
Yeah. Can I share my view?
Yes,
Yes.
Auntie.
Tulsidas, when we sing Hanuman Chalisa, Jaya Hanumana Gnana Guna Sagar, he says. I think this Gnana Guna is also quite a good name for all those virtues. Jaya Hanumana Gnana Guna Sagar, Jaya Kapisha Loka Ujagar. So that Gnana Guna, I found it as very appropriate for these virtues. Gnana Guna, Swami already mentioned it, and there is a reference also by Tulsidas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Auntie. It's very well put. Yes. Yeah. So these are gunas which come with jnana.
Yeah.
Jnana means that we are the Atman. We are not the body. We are not the mind. We are not the limited self. Yeah. They identify with that consciousness which is all pervading in everyone and everything in this world.
In fact, Hanuman, when he refers to Hanuman, Hanuman is a great Gnani, and he had all the gunas. So Gnana Guna Sagar is the ocean of all those gunas. I think that name is very, very appropriate. Saira.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we see the text, Narmada?
I don't know if we wanted to read this again or should we go to the next?
I think we can move on, I think, Kalyani, unless anyone has.
So when we're talking about jnana and jnaya, so jnaya is the goal. And then also in one portion, Krishna is saying, now I will speak about jnana. And then he goes on to talk about the gunas, like amanitvam. So is it that these gunas themselves are jnana? Or?
I think these gunas can only be cultivated with jnana.
Yeah.
Without jnana, this will not, if we are trying to portray them, it only means that we are pretending to be something which we are not, I would say. So that's why Swami, I think Krishna is equating it with jnana. I think that's.
Now for a second, Adambitvam, vanitylessness. This is a very great virtue in man. It means the absence of pretense, pompousness, boasting that one is great when one is not, claiming that one has power when one has nothing, that one has authority when one has no such title. Here, readers will note one point. The world today is full of this false pretense, this hypocrisy. Whichever field of activity you watch, whomsoever you observe, you discover this dire defect. The government of nations are in the hands of people who are pretenders to power, authority, and capacity. Those who have no knowledge claim to know everything. Those who have no one, even to help them at home, claim that they have a huge following. In every activity, this hypocrisy is the very first step. This ruins man in every field, like a pest that destroys the crop. If this is wiped off, the world will be saved from disaster. Pretense will make you lose this world and the next. It is harmful at all times and places. It does not suit ordinary men. How can it then be beneficial for the sadhaka? The third virtue is ahimsa. This also is an important virtue. Himsa, violence, is not simply physical. It means even more. The mental pain that is inflicted, the anxiety and worry that are caused to others by your actions and words. If you desist from causing physical pain to others, you cannot claim to have ahimsa. Your activities must not cause pain, must be unselfish. Your thoughts, words, and deeds must all be free from any motive to cause such pain.
Thank you, Narmada. So we have read two of them. Maybe we'll read it in Telugu, but maybe we'll discuss Adambitvam first and then we will move on to the Ahimsa.
Yeah. Shall I read?
Yes, Auntie, please go ahead.
Ika rendavadi, adambitvam.
Then the second one, Adambitvam.
Adambitvam.
Sorry, Adambitvam, sorry.
Dambamu lekunda undata.
That is, dambam means to be without damba.
Dambam is pretense. Idi manuvaluku goppa sugunam.
This is a great a good quality for human beings.
Tanu goppavadu kakapoinanu goppaga natinchuta.
Even when one is not a great person, pretending to be a great person, acting like one.
ఏ శక్తి సామర్థ్యములు లేకపోయినా సర్వశక్తులు ఉండినట్లు ప్రవర్తించుట.
Whatever, even if someone does not have any power or ability or skill, pretending and behaving as if one has all powers.
ఏ అధికారములు లేకపోయినను సర్వాధికారిగా చలాయించుట.
When one does not have any authority, pretend to be one who has all authorities.
ఇవే డంబము యొక్క గుర్తులు.
These are the signs of damba.
ఇట్టివి లేకుండా ఉన్నవి ఉన్నట్లు సంచరించుట అదంబిత్వం అనుబడును.
When one behaves or one to live and move around without this quality of pretense, that is called adambitva.
పాఠకులు ఈ విషయమును బాగా కన్నులు తెరిచి చూడవలెను.
Here the readers, students should understand this subject very clearly with your eyes fully open.
నేటి రోజుల్లో లోకమంతయు దంభముతోనే నిండి ఉన్నది.
Today, these days, this world is full of this pretense, filled with this pretense.
ఏ రంగమునందు చూచినను ఏ వ్యక్తిని చూచినను డంబముతో ప్రవర్తించుచున్నాడు.
Whichever place one sees, whichever individual one sees, they are moving around with pretense.
రాజ్యపాలన అంతయు దంభమును మంత్రి చేతుల్లో ఇమిడ్చుకున్నాడు.
Even the ruling of the world, country, all the ministers are in the hands of ministers who are pretending.
రాజ్యపాలన అంతయు దంభమును మంత్రి. దంభమును మంత్రి. మంత్రి.
The pretense has become the minister in the
carrying out
the ruling, carrying out the governance.
ఏమి తెలియని వాడు కూడాను అన్నియో తెలిసినట్లు నటించును.
Even one does not know anything, one behaves as if one pretends, so one acts as if one knows everything.
ఇంటిలో వాని ముఖమున కింత స్వామి used it. ఇంటిలో వాని ముఖమున కింత గంజి పోసే నాయకుడు లేకపోయినా,
even at home, if one does not have anyone to pour even some porridge for him,
బయట సర్వసేవకులు ఉండినట్లు చెప్పుకొనును.
Outside they pretend as if they have lots of servants, many servants.
ఎంత అసమర్థుడైనను సమాజము సర్వ సమర్థునిగా తలంచవలెనని ఆశించును.
Even when one does not have any ability or capability in this society, one should be seen as someone who has all capabilities and skills.
ఒకటేమిటి,
they will desire like that. They will desire that.
ఒకటేమిటి, అన్నిటి యందు డంబమే మొదటి పాదము.
Why one? For in everything, this pretense is the first step.
ఇది మానవుని పూర్తిగా నాశనము చేయను.
This completely destroys man.
అంతటితో పోక లోకమునకొక్క చీడపురుగు వలె ప్రాకును. చీడపురుగు అంటే పెస్ట్.
Yeah. Swami uses చీడపురుగు and వేరుపురుగు like the two plants, pests for any plant. So Swami says this is like the pest which attacks the tree from everywhere on all sides.
దీనిని అంత మొనర్చిన లోకములో పీడ వదలును.
If this is completely removed in this world, all calamity, harm will be removed.
కాన డంబమునకు చోటిచ్చిన ఉభయ భ్రష్టులు కాగలరు.
If one gives any room for this damba or pretense, one would become ubhaya brashta, means in two ways. One is
In 2 ways they will be lost. 2 ways
And-
they will.
two ways people will lose.
ఉభయ భ్రష్టులు. They lose in both ways.
Both
ఇది
ways.
సామాన్య మానవునికే సరి అయినది కాదు.
This is not even good for even common man.
ఇక సాధకులు కాగోరు వారు
Here, those who wish to become a sadhu,
సాధక సాక్షాత్కారము పొందుగురు వారు
people who want to attain the manifestation of the divinity,
దీనిని స్మరించినను సరే పతనము కాగలరు.
even if they think about it, they will fall down.
Yeah, I think I should stop here so that
I
can-
think so. Auntie.
What was that sentence about Damba Manu Mantri?
See,
that
So the advisor who is pretense has taken over the governance of the nation.
in fact he calls mantri, that minister, Damba. Damba is the minister.
Damba is giving the advice for running the place.
Running this.
Yes, Auntie.
Dambamanu Mantri. So-called Mantri is a Damba.
Mantri himself is a Damba, means he is
Damba.
incapable of giving any advice, but he is trying to advise. And so you can imagine what would happen to the king.
Yeah.
So the Damba himself has taken over the country's administration.
When we read Adhambitvam, we should say, but Damba is the word.
I know.
Yeah, it is together when we, and Adhambitvam is the word, noun form of Damba. Adhambitvam.
Brother, sorry, Sairam.
Sairam, Sairam.
Adambitvam is not in Tamil. Adambara.
No, it's
No, that is not the word here. They are saying
we will use
Adambara. Adambaram.
Tamil also will use the word Dambam.
Dambam.
Ama, Dambam.
One who is dumb.
In that word Adambara, you get the Damba. That word-
Adambitvam.
I read it as Adam Bitwam. That's why I'm also a bit confused.
Yeah,
It's not
Adambitvam is the Adambarama irukkirathu because that description what
Yes, you are right. See, Adambaram is also Adambara comes from the same word system.
Adambitvam.
Yeah. No, it's Adambitvam. It's Adambitvam. Which is-
Adambitvam.
Adam.
Yeah,
Sanskrit,
in
Adam
English they will write it Adambitvam, but I'm just asking is that because the description go with the Adambaram too.
Yes, Adambaram. I understand.
But
Yeah.
Arun,
Adam and சொன்னீங்க, right? Adam is as DH, the, not the, right? And you say
Adambitvam. Adambitvam.
Adam. Okay. Adam.
In
Okay.
Sanskrit, when it comes to that form, you have to say Adambitvam.
Adam. Okay.
Adambitvam.
Thank you. I see Saku auntie and Satish.
Okay, okay.
Sairam,
Sairam.
isn't it this is what we all do now? Even though we can't afford, we try to make a pompous celebration. Even when a small little girl becomes a big girl, they hire
Oh.
a
Yeah.
helicopter. All these things. How can we educate them? Because this has become the normal. people who can't afford, they have to beg and borrow from the bank to spend all this.
Who is coming in the helicopter, Ma?
In our community, some rich parents, I don't know how they got that money. They do bring the little girl in the
Helicopter.
helicopter to the hall, banquet.
Oh, sorry.
Kind of
Showing.
yeah, what you call vanity has
Vanity.
got into our people. We suffered back home so much. We get easy money. We are doing this, and poor people in the middle class who cannot afford, they are begging and borrowing money to do all these things. I just wanted to, my heartache, express my heartache.
So just to, in Sanskrit, the word damba, damb, all of them are related. So adambar is also in the same family of qualities, if you want to put it that way, because a different manifestation of dam, whichever you want to put it. So I think here Swami is talking about, even in small things, sometimes we want the world to see us in different color than what we really are, because maybe it's a lack of self-respect. We do not ourselves feel have an inferior, it's a complex also of sort, inferiority complex. So I think all that comes into being. So it becomes vanity, it becomes flaunting things.
Hypocrisy also.
Is it because I think sometimes we come across the saying, like, pretend, then tend, then end, when it comes to like good qualities. So when you do it within your own self, is that when you do adambaram within your own self, or dam, then is that okay? Because it's not like you're showing it to other people, but maybe you're pretending so that
So the Kalyani, the thing is, when we're pretending, we should not fool ourselves that we have ended. I think, and we have ended up with, I think that's what Swami is referring. The Jnani doesn't have to pretend. He is the real thing. I think that's what it is, I think.
So in that saying, that phrase, like pretend, then tend, then you should be clear that you're aware that you are pretending, but it's okay to do that in order to cultivate good qualities.
That's where everyone starts, I think. Everyone has to start there, but at that stage, we are not jnanis, I think that's what it is. I think whenever we strive to become something, we try to emulate or imitate, but for a higher purpose, it's not to fool others. So I think it's a positive trait, I guess. But anyway, I will open it to others also to share about this. Yes, Auntie.
What is the question Kalyani asked that you want us to discuss? I missed it.
Kalyani is asking the question. There is, I think, in some cases, Swami has already stated that we should pretend initially, then we tend to be that thing, and we at the end we end. So pretend, then you tend, then you end. To any, that is a part of growth itself, to cultivate something good. So I think Kalyani's question is, should we first pretend that we have adambitvam, or whether we should tend to have adambitvam, and we end up having adambitvam? I think that's the question.
Oh.
So is it okay to pretend that we have adambitvam? Oh, okay. That's the question. Kalyani, did I put it right?
Yes, okay.
Yes, Amma.
If we are cultivating a good virtue, Swami himself has suggested, that we should first pretend, then tend, and then end it. So
If we are always pretending, then it's a problem.
that's a problem. Yeah.
Without moving to tending. Yes.
So you mean we can pretend?
We can,
Can we pretend? Is it a good virtue to pretend?
no, it does not.
That's a good question. That's what I also want to ask.
Okay, I will let others share their thoughts. Is it good to pretend that we are good?
Yeah.
I think that's at least in the right direction. I think that's what Swami is telling us. See, the thing is, we are pretending to be, one day we may become good. We may become good. But if people find out that we are pretending, then you have to bear with all the the result of that.
I think it's like see good, do good, feel good. It's like that surrounding ourselves with good. So first we need to believe ourselves that we are good or we don't have this. And I think you can consider that as pretending. First to believe that we don't and then kind of work towards it. I think that's how I would look at it instead of saying that pretending, like Kalyani said, to ourselves, not to others though. When you start showing it to others when you don't have that quality is when it becomes adambit or a bit adambitvam, I think. Or
Thank you. Thank you, Amrita.
Pretends for a longer time of, maybe that quality will slowly enter into our psyche, and then we may become at the end good, that cultivate that virtue also.
Yes, Auntie Sakku. Sakku Auntie, I think if you want to say something, you have to unmute and speak.
If you go to pretend, I think eventually it will become part of your habit. Without knowing, you will always you will be starting pretending, but you are not. I am sorry, I am not convinced.
Yes, Sister Aruna.
Yes, Sakku auntie, you're right. That's what I'm also thinking. This pretend and all, I don't know why for the jnanis to pretend here, right? That's still I couldn't, pretend. Why want to pretend again? If you don't get it right, you just try to understand first, right? So the other thing is not others to say, oh, she's pretending. That you shouldn't judge. So within yourself, why you wanted to pretend?
I agree.
For others, there's no chance for them to say, oh, she's pretending. Why? Why are you judging that person? How do you know? Okay.
Then
Just
you're
I'm
not
asking
truthful.
myself, okay? This is my way of thinking. Thank
Yeah,
you.
then I also thinking the same way. You're not truthful to yourself.
Okay, yes, Dharmata, Sister Dharmata.
so I think the word pretend is kind of confusing us. Like we don't have to say pretend. What I look at it as is like you say that you don't have that quality. I don't like, so you keep telling yourself that you don't have that, then you remind it's a form of reminding yourself to practice not having that quality. I think when we say the word pretend, we are thinking how we are portraying ourselves to others. We shouldn't care about how we are portraying ourselves to others. If you start worrying about that, then that becomes in itself with a dambitvam. So in that sense, I agree with what Arunanti and Sakwanti is saying, that so the goal is to not to pretend for others. And even to yourself, you're not pretending, but you're kind of telling yourself to get rid of that quality. So like positive thinking, I guess, if you want to use that word, that's how I see it. Just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
What is Swami saying in Telugu, please?
Aruna,
Yeah.
for pretense, Swami is just saying dambam. He was using the word dambam. But this pretending and then end came when Kalyani referred to a good quality. For cultivating that quality, when we do that, at the end, we may be successful. That's what she was referring to. Isn't it, Kalyani?
Yes, Auntie.
Yeah, so Sai Satish, it's your turn. Because Sai Satish often quotes this, so I think.
Ramana. So so if we look at in a home setting, we see that whatever when we have children as such, whatever the older one does, the younger one wants to do. So it is more in terms of imitation that I would say that we are drawing upon those qualities. So even when we have like the satsang, when we discuss certain points, we see how a particular viewpoint can be thought of both on a little lower plane and on a higher plane. And when we look at the higher plane, we say, oh wow, this is a very interesting and a unique way to look at the same thing. And it is in that context that I would say, when we say pretend, tend, and end, because Swami always says imitation is human and creation is divine. But nevertheless, in terms of that kind of an imitation that we start looking at, like, so even as a child, the little one looks at the older one and does. When we come in the company of good and godly, it is more that kind of a imitation, which we are like, oh, they think like this, they behave like this, they dress up like this kind of a thing. And so it may tend to be on that imitation level, which looks like a pretense or mirroring of that, but it is more on a guided to a higher level. But in the context of course, in the context of good things, it is always, if we dwell on the good and the godly, obviously, tell me your company, I shall tell you what you are. It leads us one to, even as we think about imitating or what we call pretending, it starts the part of tending and ending. But in the context of the adambaram or dambam or jambam, what we call in Tamil, that kind of a thing, that again is a slippery slope, right? If we, again, it's a problem where we look on the negative side. If we want to start imitating, if somebody is getting on a helicopter, then maybe I will do something better than that. I don't know. It's a slippery slope that we are getting to. But in the context of the good and godly, it is always like, how much, like, okay, somebody is speaking softly and sweetly, can I also embrace that kind of an approach? This is the way they approach any kind of a situation, looking at it in a positive manner. So I would put it in that context of pretend, tend, end, on the note of imitating the way it is like the little one does for the older one at home, more on that kind, because they feel that, yeah, looking up to them to just do that. Saira.
Thank you, Sai Satish. So I think Sai Satish is talking about this imitation of silence. You know, everyone says, I am following Maunam. That means the mouth doesn't speak. But the Swami will say that is not silence. That's only a pretending to be silent, because the mind has to be silent. So that's the real silence. So things like that, I think. Yeah, okay, thank you, Sai Satish.
So, brother, pretend now, based on Sai Sati's explanation, we can say that somebody is trying to practice something like that.
Yes.
But trying to practice to get to that goal.
Yeah.
So that's how we can look at it. Thank you, Saira.
Which is what Narmada also said, you know, it is for ourselves, knowing that we are pretending and we are not there yet, but it's not for projecting for other people's sake. When you try to project something for other people's sake, then that is bad. That's what Narmada also said. So Is everyone okay with that? And if we have sort of understood what we have to practice, we have to learn to practice, we can go to the other one.
We have to read Ahimsa.
Yes, Auntie, we'll read.
Can I go further?
Yes, Auntie.
Okay. ಈಗ ಮೂಡವದೈನ ಅಹಿಂಸ ಕೂಡನು ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಗುಣము.
Here, the third quality of ahimsa also is an important quality.
ఇతరులను బాధించుట, కష్టము కలిగించుట, చింతనలను చిక్కించుట ఇత్యాది వృత్తులు హింస అని అందరు.
To harm or hurt others or cause troubles for others, or such thinking of such thoughts, to get into that such thoughts, these kind of tendencies are called himsa.
అట్టివి లేకుండటనే అహింస అని అందరు.
When such things are absent, that state is called ahimsa.
కానీ కేవలము దేహమున మాత్రము ఇతరులను బాధించకుండినంత మాత్రమున అహింస కాజాలదు.
But just mere absence of not hurting others in physical or bodily terms cannot be considered ahimsa by itself.
మనోవాక్కాయ కర్మలతో బాధారహితమైన స్వార్థరహితమైన వృత్తులను ఆచరించుట నిజమైన అహింస అనబడును.
So through mind, word and deed, all the actions which are without an intention to hurt and without any selfishness, such tendencies, when they are practiced, that turns out to be the real ahimsa.
సరే.
Oh yeah, but before we go to ahimsa, in the previous one, they will lose in two ways. Ubhaya brashtulu.
ఉభయ భ్రష్టులు. use that word ఉభయ భ్రష్టులు.
Because in the Gita also Arjuna asks about yoga brashta. So is it similar to that? Like,
No, here in both ways he is losing, Swami is saying.
yeah, so what are the two ways? Is one of them like the yoga or like in a spiritual manner, and in what are the two ways in which he will lose?
Yeah, so
I think he loses on both sides.
Both sides.
Both sides. What is it? First is he's losing the whole అంతమనర్చిన లోకములో పీడ వదలను కాన డంబములకు చోచిట్టిన ఉభయ భ్రష్టులు కాగలరు. మానవుని పూర్తిగా నాశము చేయను. దట్ వన్ మే బి one is one ಇದೆ.
Yeah, I am at a loss if anyone else can.
Yeah.
Ubhaya brashta, I can't.
In the society also he loses his.
Possibly, I think.
What he is. సమాజము సర్వసమర్థునిగా తలంచవలనని ఆశించును. You know, in society he loses his face as well as his own life. మానవుని పూర్తిగా నాశము చేయను. It completely destroys him.
So I think Swami, yeah, thank you, Auntie. I think externally also, in others' perception also you lose, and in your own growth also you will lose.
You lose. That's it.
Yeah. Because we are trying
and inwardly.
Yeah, outwardly and inwardly. Because people are doing this to get a name in the society. So we will not get any name in the society. People will also, you will lose. And then internally, your own growth also is lost, you know. So I think.
Yeah, you're destroying yourself.
Yeah, so that seems a nice way to understand. Yeah. And Swami is saying, even if you think about it, smiling.
Yeah.
You even think of pretending, then you're lost.
Pretending.
For ahimsa, Swami thought word and did not only that. You know, like wasting electricity, wasting water. Swami says it's all himsa. It's all himsa. Wasting your energy, wasting your money. All these are, it can be considered as himsa. Swami, in one of his earlier days, when he was talking about that, he said about ahimsa. Yeah, when we are wasting our electricity, so much going on there, you know, so much of burning of oil or
nature is also, you know.
Nature is nature. So I always remember that Swami's advice, switching off the light, not to waste water as much as possible. These things, you know, it comes to our mind when we hear Swami's words.
So, and also Swami has said, Swartha Rahitamaina. So, without selfishness. Selfishness also, Swami says, is ahimsa.
Himself.
Selfishness.
So even if we do anything to harm our own mind or our own body, that can also be considered himsa.
Yes.
Of course. You are hurting your own mind.
Because it's not our own. That's the point. It's all borrowed. We have to return back in good shape. That's why in Swami has said, if we practice Satya, Dharma, Shanti and Prema, the end result is ahimsa. That's the way Swami has defined it.
I started to go back in again, but because Swami's using such strong terms for the damba, why is it such a past? Because if somebody's pretending, I can see that it's harming that person. Why is it such a past for all of like society? And
I think Swami says people in power, position of power, people, you know, if they pretending, the impact is very huge on large sections of society. When they are incapable of doing something, if, for example, if somebody wants to drive a bus without knowing how to drive a bus, all the passengers are at risk. Okay, so I think that's the problem. Swami says people who don't have the capability or the skill, pretending that they have the skill. You know, it's like, you know, it may be slightly humorous. You know, in bhajans, people who can't sing, they want to sing in the mic. It is everyone who attends is, you know, their time is just wasted and spoiled. So Swami has said this. So he said, if you're not capable, you just sing to yourself, sing along with others, or sing at home. So it's, I think, developing the right skill, so it can harm the society through various actions. I think that's what Swami is referring to. So I think cultivating the right skills and doing what one is capable of without any pretense is beneficial for everyone. Sahi Satish, you can.
Hi, Ramana. I was just going to say that if we take, we did discuss a little bit of this even during today's morning's study circle, but I'm just bringing it up in the context of pretension, where we have, let's say, for companies that inflate their stocks and things of that kind. It is more of pretension, which shows that the company is doing extremely well, gets more of investors to pump in more money. We know where this whole thing goes, and finally the economic bubble bursts. So we can see the ramification at that level. Because of pretension, we may say it's just few individuals or few companies, but how it sets into motion and has a domino effect or a knock-on effect, which we can see affects not just at the societal level, but countries go with it. Why? So we can go back and ask why, in that case, politicians, like again, same thing. Swami says 7 deadly sins, politics without principles. So that kind of a thing, where if we don't have that transparency in place and only have a pretentious attitude of saying that we are doing extremely well when actually it is not the case, not being honest, then it has its consequences not only at the individual level, but the ramifications at the global level as well.
Society level.
Yeah,
Suppose,
sorry,
sorry.
Aunty. In the translation, pretense will make you lose this world and the next. Also, so I think that Ubaya.
And that also, Ubaya also.
Yeah, so they are also, yes, I saw.
Very,
Okay,
very,
go ahead.
No, I was just trying to say, supposing a finance minister of a country says that they have lots of reserves, foreign exchange and everything. In fact, there will be nothing. So when it is just for pretense, they are doing it. But are they not harming so much to the society? People think that, oh, you are all fine. That may not be true.
Yes. Yes, Sakku Aunty.
Yeah. When you take a school, and if the school is jacking up the marks and pretending that they are doing very well and saying that they are standing out or the first place or the second place, that is also sinful, right?
Misleading the people.
Not only the children, they are misleading the whole educational system. So I don't know, this pretense word is right.
Coming back to pretense.
When it comes to if you're given or if you're taking on some new role or responsibility in some area of your life, or even within the organization, and then suddenly you're in a role where maybe you're supposed to, do something, but maybe you don't actually know how to do it that well, or you're just learning. Like in some level, like you do have to, like you are pretending. I guess like when I first became a guru, for example, I definitely didn't know, as much as even now. So like, but at that point you still have to kind of pretend, or not pretend, but I guess you take on a role where other people might assume that you know things, even if you're not portraying that.
Yeah, I understand. That's true. People sometimes think more than what you want to even project. That's what you are saying. But I think it's for each individual to know. We have to, if we take up something for which we are not qualified. I think that's one. That's one thing you're saying. Then what are we to do? We are stuck with something for which we don't have the necessary skills. But I think that then in such a situation, I think going and pretending that we know, I think is the problem. So acting as if we know is, I think, it's a problem. I think, but we have to work hard. I think a teacher has to study, try to study as much as possible, and then share that knowledge. But I think to say that, um, I think it's, and all of us are in similar situation, where we don't know something and we have to work hard to learn and try to live up to that expectation, which is what you are referring to. To live up to expectation is so not bad, but pretending to be, meeting the expectation, I think, is the problem. I think that's a slight difference. That's the way I understand. Others can share.
Sai Ram, I don't know.
Sai Ramadi, please go ahead.
I think the people who are who wants to reach the final destination, their soul, they don't have to become or follow this pretending path. They can be themselves and be truthful and go ahead in their spiritual journey. That's what I think. It's not for people who really want the final destination to be successful with God's grace. I don't think we have to. Truth, Satya, is the first value, human value. And then we preach something and then we go and do something else is not right. Or if you're following Baba's teaching and you want to reach that destination, you have to be very transparent. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Yes, Sai Satish.
Sorry, Ramana. I was just going to say that the intention behind the pretension is what is important.
Yeah, that's so great.
So, yeah, if you're always in a state of tension, then it's different from the pretension as if it is genuinely from the point of view of doing better, learning, improving, and having a higher goal, which will not just be for the sake of the individual, but for the larger community and society, then starting on that path, because everybody starts as a beginner. So in terms of that, what we are calling as pretension is more guided by the noble intention. That's what I would put it as, because the what sister you had mentioned in the Bal Vikas thing, of course, the children would like to see a teacher who is able to deliver Swami's teachings to them. But at the same time, we may not have the answer to everything. So I'm sure you would have been in a thing where you will tell them that you will always think about it and come back. So as long as that intention is there in
That's
the
good.
Yeah.
it is taken care of. So that's what I would say. Saira.
So I think we should, let us all get together, make a decision that hereafter that quotation will be intend, tend, end.
Instead of pretend, it's intent.
Intent,
Intend,
tending,
tend, and end.
Yeah. But the good intention is lost if you say end. If you start with intent, good intention is not end.
Because pretend is causing too much problems.
Too much.
I know.
Brother, for intent, so pretend. So pre-intention is good. So be intent, pretend. This is as Sai Satya said, that's what I was saying. The intention is matters, right? For the jnani only to become a jnani, 20 virtues. That's Krishna is trying to explain, right? These are the qualities. So if you pretend you want, as you said, the intention is matters. What do you wanted to learn? At least you don't know what place you are in, then you wanted to be just to get the idea you wanted to, then it will motivate. That's how maybe that's as a become a virtue, you're showing the interest there. Thank you. Saira.
Yes, Kalyan, you want to say something?
No, I'm going.
Okay.
But pretend is not bad, according to Swami Krishna. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just, it's a
If
lot
the
of.
intention is okay, it's not bad, sister. That's I said.
Yes.
Actually, intention is much better than the pretenders. The noble intention is much better. I like the teacher scenario. We have been there, right? We know.
Okay, no, I think no one wants to talk about ahimsa because we are not hurting ahimsa itself, you know.
We are not others by talking. by
so, so Swami has clubbed this human value among qualities of a jnani.
Yeah.
It's a jnana guna. Jnana guna. You know, Swami has elevated it to such a high level.
Very high level.
Yes.
Brother, this is for the jnani itself to realize he should what to follow, the virtues, right? Am I right? It's not somebody else to judge. This person has it. This man, can be a jnani like that. The jnani itself to follow these kinds within themselves.
Must have a gnani must have these virtues.
Yes, jnani.
In the beginning,
jnani.
Swami said that.
So you are not going to say, oh, you are not jnani because you don't have this, you don't have this. Jnani has to know these are the things within themselves to realize that they are in that path, kind of. Thank you.
I don't think it's for the jnani to evaluate, sister. It's
Krishna, Arjuna is asking the question, right? From Krishna.
I think that God has to evaluate.
Oh, God has to evaluate, but these things they have to keep in mind. Right?
They have to keep in mind.
God,
yeah, God has to evaluate and give the Brahma
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sakshatkara, whatever. You know,
yeah.
The final evaluation has to be in the hands of God.
God. Tattva Gnana.
Because why I said that, if the jnani should not even think, oh, I have this ahimsa virtue. Gone. He is not a jnani anymore.
Then he becomes Abhimani. He becomes Abhimani.
No, jnani progress itself, they will, without their knowledge, they will get into these qualities, right? This will come with them. Then if they acquire all those 20, they become jnani. Because of Krishna is saying Arjuna's question, these are the things, right? So it's 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
No, because you used the word evaluation.
Yeah, evaluation. No, we are not supposed to. It comes within. But yeah, you have to evaluate all the time. You know, what is called the integrated awareness within you, right? All the time, right? You have to know yourself, right? All the time. Don't you?
Self-assessment.
Yeah.
You mean?
I agree with that.
Integrated
we have to evaluate how we are progressing. How can we say we cannot realize that we are going on the ahimsa path or I don't know.
Do we evaluate ourselves or not? I think I was opened up another.
We do.
How do we evaluate ourselves? I think that's the question. Maybe we can discuss.
Yeah.
Can we evaluate and should we evaluate? How do we evaluate?
Can I say it?
Yes, Auntie.
My own experience. You know, the 5 evil characters that we have, one of them is anger. When you become angry not because of anything, for something that hurts you or does because it's not being done properly. If I get angry, then I think to myself, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have got angry because that person is not in the right mind to understand what is right and what is wrong. I should be more patient. I evaluate myself like that because of my present time.
Okay, that's good.
We learned something, constant integrated awareness too, right?
Yes.
Now, why I ask this question is, I am like, as soon as we say I,
The ego.
That's why I said, the thing is, as soon as we say I am practicing, we have limited ourselves to our body and mind.
Body.
Okay. So the jnani will never evaluate. He may evaluate every action which is happening, everything every thought he may evaluate, but he will never evaluate himself. That I am the doer. Because as soon as a jnani thinks like that, he has fallen. He has become a brashta.
So the self-awareness is what?
So constant integrated awareness will come.
What is constant integrated awareness, sister?
Yes. But where this is comes, because this is something they are, Krishna saying these all things has to be there. So see, even to practice ahimsa, I know jnani automatically do the right things without considering. This shouldn't affect them with in like a causing pain. They shouldn't have these kind of their set in the mind. But where the constant integrated awareness Swami says to practice in this kind of, jnani has to somewhere. Yeah, I'm just thinking with the previous discussions.
I don't know. I think we have not reached the jnani state yet, right? We are just trying to get better.
Yeah, so that
our Atma is we want to purify our Atma.
Yeah, I mean, my point was, as soon as we try to start evaluating ourselves, whether we are, Swami says, somebody will say, I have conquered anger. If somebody tells, I have conquered anger, Swami says, ask the person about 10 times, are you really, conquered anger? And then that person will find out for themselves whether they really conquered anger. So the thing is, it is a slippery slope even to evaluate ourselves as, have we cultivated this quality? I think that was my point. Because at any point, even if we say I'm a devotee, then we are not a devotee anymore. Because we are a devotee of ourselves. So the I is a big problem. That is why the first qualification is amanitvam. Abhimanam is not there. Okay, so he is the person doesn't think of himself as a body or the mind, a limited self. Only that person is a jnani. So I will stop. Yes, Sai Satish has something, so we'll first listen to him and then.
I was just going to say that, like what you are saying, I think it is more about having the discriminatory knowledge of knowing the right and wrong, good, bad, sorrow, like all the dualities, but not like you're saying getting to a point of really acknowledging that I know it. So it's not like because it's literally like if the salt doll exists, then it has not become one with the ocean. And if the salt doll has dissolved and become one with the ocean, then there is nothing to speak about. So I think, it's more like it is. I think from Sister Aruna's point of view, it's about having that awareness continuously, like being aware and being like beware kind of a situation where we discriminate at every point, but at no time have we. I think if we go about and identify that, yes, I have achieved it, then in that process, it takes away what has been achieved in what you are saying. So it's either the salt doll or the ocean. That's the kind of thing. And the ocean generally doesn't speak about itself. So either way, it is gone. Saira.
Yeah, so I think even this constant integrated awareness, everyone talks about the CIA. What are we being aware of? I think that's the question. What is the jnana? Okay, let's not worry about us. What will a jnani be aware of?
Of the Atman, of it established in the Atman, aware that, like again, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, but that I being referred to is the Atman and not the small I.
So when you are immersed in the thought of God at all times,
it.
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
that's what you are aware of. Okay,
Yeah.
that you are aware of this universal consciousness. You
That
know,
is
when you are aware of that, then you won't even worry about who you are.
Yes.
You know, you will not be worried. That concept of small I identification is vanished. Until that vanishes, these qualities will not come. It's like, you know, if you want to check whether you are sleeping, you are not asleep. If you say, let me check, I'm asleep, that means you are not. Only the person who is not sleeping will try to check. The person who has slept off cannot know whether the person has slept. It's like that. So the thing is, a jnani is in a constant state of integrated awareness of the universal consciousness. He does not see himself as a separate entity, a limited small entity. So this question of, you know, all this, whether I have the qualities or not, may not even arise in a full jnani, you know, who is in a state of constant integration. That was my point. But I will stop here. Sorry, I sort of derailed the discussion a little bit. Yes, Auntie Saku.
Yeah, so anyhow, I don't know, shouldn't we correct ourselves in our spiritually when
Very good
knowing
question.
what is right and what is wrong? We can correct ourselves.
Okay, so what is the correction is the question.
Correcting our...
How do we correct? You know, for example, if I feel angry.
Yeah, controlling our senses, controlling our mind.
How do we control?
Practice.
I think the first step is that to know that I am getting angry. First step.
What?
First step is to know I am getting angry.
Yeah.
So then
acknowledge.
Yeah. So then why did you get angry? That's the second question.
Weakness.
What was the cause? What was the cause for your anger?
What's the cause?
Not taking insulin. My husband takes, before eating, he doesn't take the insulin. If I'm busy with something, I get mad. Why he is doing that? I'm sorry.
But yes, Auntie, it's an insulin, but I don't know whether it's not the right insulin. What is the insulin which was missing?
Insulin missing. Communication? I don't know.
See, as soon as you're not aware of the Paramatman, you will fall into all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
So whenever something is wrong, the corrective action is only one. Go back to remembering the Lord.
Remember the Lord?
Once, see, if we will only get angry when we forget the universal consciousness.
Oh.
See, the corrective action is only one. Because if you say, oh, maybe this insulin I didn't take, or this medicine I didn't take, food I didn't eat. Yes, they also could be some incidental thing. But the thing is, jnani will not be affected by even hunger, even sugar.
I'm not talking about jnani.
But you become jnani. So if you want to overcome this, you have to become a jnani.
Oh.
To become a jnani or having constant integrated awareness, we will only slip when we forget the Lord. So always the corrective action is remembering the Lord.
Brother.
Yes, Aruna.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
sorry, but after Sai said this because. But the Sai Satis can go ahead, please.
No, I was just making a pun on the word of what Anna was saying. If you have to insulate from insulin, then you have to remember the Lord. That's all. That's nothing much side up.
Insulate is, yes, correct.
Yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother, so because these virtues are given for that, to see the jnani, so this is like it comes, that quality they will gain by themselves. This is not they will cultivate. Is that this way? You don't look for it.
Sister, Swami has already covered these topics.
Yes.
The 4 things he said. First one is Abhyasa Yoga. Practice.
Yeah.
What is the practice? He has only prescribed one type of practice.
These are what we see on jnani, not jnani will get
No.
it.
I'm talking about sadhaka.
Yeah.
How do you become jnani? Krishna has already talked about in Bhakti Yoga. See, he gave, first he says, you should always think of the Lord at all times and, completely merge. The mind is offered, the buddhi is offered, everything is done by one. If you are incapable of doing, he says, Abhyasa Yoga. Solution. See, he has already told this. How do you become jnani? Is Abhyasa Yoga. If you cannot do Abhyasa Yoga, then think all your activities are God's activities, or you offer it to the Lord. Then you offer the fruits of it to the Lord. These are the practices which will take you to the jnani state. Jnani is like a bhakta. Okay. So the Abhyasa is only one he has prescribed, which is think of the Lord. If you slip, if you're getting angry, we have forgotten the Lord. If you're feeling sad, we have forgotten the Lord. So any negative quality which as soon as we identify, the cause is only one. You are not having constant integrated awareness of the Lord, awareness of the universal consciousness. That is the fundamental cause of all problems. Okay, if we solve that problem, all problems are solved, because we cannot see, there can be 100 situations in our life. We may master one situation, but the next situation will trip us. Okay, I will say, I will not get angry in this situation. Okay, then another situation which you are not prepared comes, and then you again fall flat. Then you'll say, okay, I will master that. Then you think you have mastered that, another thing will show up, you will fall flat. So the thing is, you have not solved the problem at the cause level. You're only attacking the symptom. Okay, the cause is forgetting the Lord, forgetting the universal consciousness, forgetting that the Lord is everywhere. These are the problems, are all negative qualifications. So constant integrated awareness of the Lord, of the universality, then you don't have to practice mastering, not getting angry when you didn't take insulin, not getting angry when you have not had food, not getting angry when you are tired. All this is secondary to that thing. Because Swami will say the real devotee, once he is in that state, he will not have hunger. He will never be tired. He will never be agitated. That will only God can give us that. That is the panacea. So that's what I just wanted. So that is, all this is because if you try each transaction and see, I didn't hurt anyone today, tomorrow you may hurt. Then you will say, I will not hurt them this way. then third day you'll hurt a completely different way. So if you want to master it, just think of the Lord. So the jnani, as soon as something happens, he will think of the Lord. He will go back to his constant integrated awareness, which is remembering the Lord at all times. So, you know, again, this is just, this is all Swami has told in different places, but so I'll stop here. Yes, Sakuan.
Thank you for giving that insight. In that case, I don't know. Why are we studying all these things? Baba, we can ask Baba to help us to reach that jnani state and just do our normal this thing without worrying about it.
Yeah, the whole thing is, Auntie, to ask how to. Just because you ask one day, he's not going to give it.
Practice, continue.
So we have to make constant effort. I think that's what Swami is teaching us.
Okay.
So this whole thing is, first we have to learn how to ask. Then
Yeah, how to ask? Yeah, can you tell us?
Swami is teaching us, I think.
Brother.
Wait, Sister Sakwand is not done yet, looks like.
Yeah.
Sakwand, do you have anything more to ask?
No, I'm just,
Okay.
please, I will follow and wait because now I know I have to just pray to Swami. That's all matters.
Don't forget Swami. Don't forget him.
I will never forget. I will never forget. Always.
No, remember. Yeah, that's all. Sorry.
I always seek his guidance, everything.
Yes.
I'll wait for this. These 20 virtues are so difficult to. If you go to adapt all these conditions, then we cannot concentrate on anything else. I will just pray to Swami, that's all.
Yes. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Okay, Sairam, brother. So I'm trying to just to understand what is this 20 virtues are, why we are discussing kind of, and why Krishna is talking about. But as after you are saying that the 4 things we have learned that to be practiced, give the fruits of the action, all those things. Once you practice those things, you become a jnani level. You become like a person, like a jnani, where this quality would have been acquired within you, right? You don't need to go for it. But these are the things you will see in the jnani kind of Krishna is explaining. Am I right?
Yes, Aunt. Says
Okay.
Sister.
Okay, then. Thank you.
Because the Bhakta, Jnani is the final stage of Bhakta. Your Arti, Artharati, Jijnasu, and then Jnani. Jnani is the final Bhakta. Yeah, Bhakti Yoga covers it all. Yes. Yes, that's my understanding. Yes, Sai Satish.
And I was just going to say that, like in the case of Gopikas, I think they didn't go about and say, oh, I have to do Amanitvam, tick. I have to do the next one, tick. Then I have to do Ahimsa, tick. They just thought of Krishna always.
That is enough.
That's it. And they became jnanis because they didn't have to be even conferred the title jnanis because they had that ultimate love which made them one with Krishna, and all of those values can be seen in them automatically. So I think that is where when I was mentioning also, it made sense. If every time in life anything comes, if we just go back to Swami, I think we don't have to worry, oh, have I conquered anger? Have I conquered like himsa kind of a thing and reach to that state? Because I think for the one who is always thinking of the Lord, they become one with the Lord. And when they become one with the Lord, it is like, yeah, you have the Lord, so you have the kingdom. So or the king, you have the kingdom. So you have all those values, all that treasury, everything becomes part of you without having to go and like pick, cherry picking one after another. That's what I would say.
Yes, Kalyani.
Yes, now it kind of makes sense why Swami at the beginning he said first the sadhaka, the jnana, and the jnaya are important.
Yes.
So he just focused on the jnaya, the God. And then for
Yes.
the jnani, the suguna is important. But it's not that the jnani, the sugunas automatically come for the jnani, but it's almost like them having these qualities is beneficial for us because then we can see that, oh, like when we have any of these qualities, we realize we're not jnani and then we still have more work to do.
Yes. Very true, Kalyani. Yes. Because, when Sister Aruna made that, it's not for others to evaluate, it's for us to evaluate. So that's, because we should know the right approach. I think that was my point. And Swami and Krishna have step by step explained us. If we forget what we have learned before, what he has told before, then, we will come up with our own understanding of this. That was my point. So, jnana and jnaya, let's focus on the jnaya. And then let's practice. And then these are signs, which if we see, then we know we have a lot, we have to work hard at abhyasa, practice. Yes, that's the way I understand.
And interestingly, Anna, whether it is amanitvam, adambitvam, or ahimsa, everything starts with So A-I-E is, I think, this is the A-I-E that everybody should learn. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so 4:21, we have 10 minutes. We can read the next section if we wish.
Then we have Shama, forbearance, as the fourth. This is called Shanti, as well as Sahana. Sahana, is it?
Sahana.
Sahana. Sahana. Putting up with something. It means that you should consider as unreal the evil that others do unto you, the loss that you suffer through them, the hatred they evince towards you. Treat these as you treat a mirage. That is to say, you must develop that degree of patience and fortitude. It is not the helpless putting up with the evil that others do because you are powerless to retaliate. It is the expression of the peace that reigns in the heart. This outer behavior or shanti, this outer behavior or shanti. True, many people put up with the injury that others inflict because they lack physical, economic, or popular support. Their suffering cannot be honored as real Shama.
I think we should stop here. Narmada,
yes.
Stop it there. There is not enough time for us to read the whole thing. I will read the first paragraph in Telugu.
Okay.
Yeah. Nalagavadi Kshama.
The fourth one is Kshama.
Deenine Kshanti ani kuda anduru.
This is what is called Kshanti.
Sahajamani kudanu anduru.
This is also called Sahana.
Sahaja. In Telugu, it's called Sahaja.
No, Auntie, my version says Sahana.
Oh, in this book it is Sahaja.
I think it's a mistake.
Sahanamani. Sahanamani kudu anduru. Anaga, Parulu, Tanaketti Apakaramulo, Kidalu, Drohamulo, Chesi undanu.
When others have inflicted on us some harm, hurt, or deceit.
Yeah. Tananu deshinchuchundinenu.
If they hate us.
Vatirannitini swapna drishyamuluga talanchi.
Considering all of them as dream, what is seen in the dream.
Yeah. ఎండు మావులుగా భావించి మర్చిపోవుట.
Seeing them as mirages, considering them as mirages and forgetting them.
అయితే ఆ ఓర్పు చేత కాక,
through that forbearance, without that,
శక్తి లేక,
without the power for that power,
విధి లేక,
without the
ఆప్షన్,
faith, without options, okay.
ఓర్చుకోవటము కాదు.
Bearing with them is not.
హృదయపూర్వకమైన శాంతితో పాటు బయట శాంతి కలిసి రావలను.
The external forbearance should be coming along with the shanti or the peace which is heartfelt.
బయట శాంతి కలిసి రావలను. హృదయపూర్వకమైన శాంతితో పాటు, it should come with peace.
Along with the peace in the heart, it should come externally as forbearance.
Forbearance should come. లోకుల యొక్క మెప్పులకై తనకు ధన జన బలములు లేకనో,
because for the sake of the world, meppulakai, what's the meaning?
మెప్పులన్న పొగడదు, praising.
Okay. Tamil mechira, they will say. Okay, so for the praise of the others, with the body, physical wealth, money, economical, people, and strength, even if these are not there,
తానేమి చేసినా చెల్లదనో ఓర్పుతో ఉండుట శాంతి. శాంతి కాజాలదు. Let me read that.
When you don't have any of these, when you these to support you, if you bear with something, that cannot be called shanti, forbearance.
Can I read the sentence once again?
Yes, yeah.
లోకుల యొక్క మెప్పులకై, for the sake of others' praise, తనకు ధన జన బలములు లేకనో చాలకనో లేక తానేమి చేసిన చెల్లదనో ఓర్పుతో ఉండుట శాంతి కాజాలదు.
So because you lack the financial or people support or physical strength is lacking, because of these reasons, if you put up with something, that cannot be considered forbearance.
క్షమయును అహింసలే ప్రధానమైనది.
Kshama is also important, just as ahimsa is.
Yeah, that's it. This paragraph ends there.
I think it's 428.
Yeah.
I think all of us can contemplate on Kshama and come back.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thanks. Yes, Kalyani?
It's Kshama, it's Shanti and Shanti is same, peace?
Yeah, that's what Swami is saying. Kshanti anuduru. He says this forbearance can be called Kshanti also.
So, but that's different from just Shanti, which means peace, right?
Yeah, it is different from Shanti. Auntie is asking whether Shanti and Shanti are different. Yes, Kalyani.
Yes, of course.
But
Shanti is inner peace. That's why Swami is saying externally it's Shanti. In the heart it is Shanti. Both have to be together for it to be called Shanti externally.
Yeah.
That's the way Swami, it's in the heart, Swami says it should be Shanti, should be present in the heart, and then forbearance should be externally manifested. Then only it can be called Shanti.
Okay.
Okay, so we will close. It's 4:29 if it's okay with all of you.
Yeah.
We'll close and we'll come back next week to continue our discussion study. Sai Ram. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Sai Ram.